Dad.
Good point. Danny looking at deuce, ace. We saw him play this earlier. He flopped a straight. Here Danny raises to 1,700. Nadya folds. Justin, ace six, out of here. Barry, ace queen. I'm guessing not out of here.
Definitely going to want to see a flop with this hand.
Calls. So down to two players on the flop. Queen, eight, queen. Trip queens for Barry.
Pretty good flop for Barry.
Action's on Danny. Leads out, 2,500.
Barry's pretty happy that Danny's committed more chips to this pot himself. Now he's got to decide whether he wants to raise here or smooth call.
He raises to 6,000.
Barry's raising for value. The speed and the size of the bet make it look a little bluffy. He may get Danny to come along for the ride. Danny knows Barry is very aggressive and thinking his ace high might even be good in this spot.
Danny calls.
More music to the Bears' ears.
Five of hearts on the turn. Danny checks. Barry fires 14,000.
After Danny called on the flop, Barry's betting again, hoping Danny's got something he can call him with. Barry always keeps consistent with his bet sizes so people can't get a read on him.
And Danny's done. Barry rakes in another pot.
Another expressionless fold from Danny.
Greenstein up 21,000. On the opposite end of the spectrum sits Joe Cada. Joe, it is a frustrating night for this young man.
He just can't seem to connect, and when he does have the best of it, he's getting blown off his hands. It would frustrate anyone.
Nadya, jack deuce suited. Folds. So does Justin. Barry's out. Jason on the button. Folds. Pair of nines for Joe. See if he can do anything with it. Raises to 1,500. Suited connectors for Danny. And he calls.
Danny's hand's actually in pretty rough shape up against a pair of nines.
Queen 5-5, two hearts.
Joe probably doesn't hate his hand, but he's got to decide whether he wants to continuation bet or try to keep the pot small.
He just checks.
Joe checking that flop shows a little bit of weakness to Danny.
Danny fires 2,300. Cada quickly calls.
Joe still thinks he has the best hand, and he's right.
Jack of clubs on the turn.
Danny's just picked up a bunch more outs.
Joe checks.
Now another bluff from Danny would actually be a semi-bluff in this case. Got a flush draw and a gut shot draw.
Danny makes it 6,500 to go.
With two overcards out there, Joe's probably not liking his nines as much.
This is so frustrating.
Cada folds the better hand. Well, it's the second time tonight we've heard Joe Cada say it's frustrating. Can he turn it around, or will the likes of Danny Alaei continue to take it to the 2009 main event champ? Find out when we return to Las Vegas for more of the big game after this.
This is the PokerStars.net Big Game.
Do you want a chance to be a loose cannon and win that NAPT passport? Log on to PokerStars.net. There are free qualifying tournaments every day. Now let's get back to the action.
Joe Cada has simmered down a bit. He is on the button.
Poker can be a very frustrating game. Keeping your emotions in check is a big part of it.
Justin Bonomo earlier said, poker's easy. Has been for him tonight. 5-4 suited. Raises to 1,400. Action folds around to Jason Mercier. Jack 10 offsuit.
Earlier in the week, Jason had built a little chip castle. Looks like his kingdom has fallen on hard times.
Jason raises to 4,700. Action folds around to Nadya. Pocket nines.
You know, we haven't seen Nadya play any medium pocket pairs. Now she's facing a 3-bet. There's no shame in folding.
How much?
4,700.
Nadya's not getting great immediate odds, but her hand is strong enough that she can play it at its own value. You don't always have to flop a set to win with 9-9. Sometimes 9s are just good.
Nadya calls. She's sticking around.
And in this case, she's ahead.
Justin makes the call as well.
4-5 suited is the kind of hand you want to play against multiple opponents. It's how you win more money.
3-10-4, 2 hearts.
Nadya had the best hand going in, but she's been outflopped.
She checks.
Justin Bonomo's got a pair of 4s. Remember, he was the pre-flop raiser. Jason Mercier's got top pair with 10s.
Bonomo bets 9,000.
Bonomo leads at this flop because he thinks he has the best hand a lot of the time.
Jason with top pair calls. So now back to the loose cannon. She folds.
It's a good fold. The way the action went, you're no good a lot of the time, and even when you are, you're up against draws.
6 of spades on the turn.
Justin's turned an open-ender to go with his pair.
We saw Justin bet after the flop. Here he checks.
He doesn't want to risk being raised if he fires again.
Mercier checks as well. Off to the river, deuce of spades, completing Justin's straight.
Justin's looking for a value bet. Trying to determine how strong Jason's hand is, how much he will call.
Bonomo fires 24,000.
And the way that this action went, his straight should be well disguised. Raise pre-flop, bet the flop. Be tough for Jason to put him on a straight. But at this point, the only thing that Jack-10 can beat is a bluff. So Jason's trying to figure out, is this a value bet or is it a bluff?
And Mercier folds.
Good fold.
Bonomo adds to his impressive chip stack.
Jason determines that Justin is just not bluffing often enough in that spot, and Justin can't get paid off on his value bet.
No, the lights in the background are flashing. Is that what they do when someone bluffs someone out of the pot?
Wish I wasn't me and you weren't you.
I'm sure there are plenty of people out there who wish they were Jason Mercier.
Barry Greenstein getting us going. Folds. Jason Mercier, Queen 8 suited. Comes out firing to 1,400. Joe folds. King 8 suited for Danny.
It's a good hand, too.
But he folds. Queen 10 for our loose cannon, who's out of here. Jack 9 suited for Justin Bonomo. And these two will tango yet again.
Replay.
These guys have got very similar hands. As you can see, they're evenly matched.
Ace Jack 4, 2 diamonds.
This is an action flop.
Bonomo checks with middle pair and a flush draw.